Welcome back to the Voice of Business podcast. We are here at Bennett Furniture and Mattresses, and big thanks to them for hosting us for the podcast, and to Phil Joliker, the marketing guy, for helping us with the production today. My guest today, Tracey Randell, Executive Director of Peterborough Musicfest.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks so much for joining us.
We go way back, Joel, so it's nice to actually be here live. And Bennett's is one of our sponsors, so thanks for the shout out. Yeah, they've been a long time sponsor. They're great. Yeah,
good. It's good to be supporting Musicfest. So, I mean, you've had a whole run of successful seasons of this. Tell us a bit about the backgrounds of Musicfest and how you got to where you are with this today.
Sure. Musicfest was formed on July 1st, 1987 by a gentleman named Fred Anderson, who's since passed. He worked right till the day of his death. He just loved Musicfest. At that time, it was called the Peterborough Festival of Lights. Yep. And we had a stage that was quite small, and then they built that new one that was torn down a couple of years ago in 1988. And my story is that I worked for Fred the first 2 years of the festival. Okay. Some people don't know that. I was boat number 2 with my friend. He was my prof at Fleming, and he kind of reined up some students to get paid and work for the summer. And what a full circle it is for me to come back to town after moving away for 30 years and run the festival now. So I still honor Fred's tradition of offering free music. There's been a lot of talk about growing the festival as much as we have with the caliber. How much more can we grow it with the way the economy is today? Yeah. So, people have said just put up some fencing and lock her down, maybe have $10 fee to get in. Yeah. But we are a non-for-profit, so I don't think a lot of people realize that. That's why we rely on sponsorships. And so Fred had started it very small, maybe collecting $1,000 from all his sponsors. Yeah. And he had dancers and musicians and gymnasts, and it was fun. In the first 2 years that I worked there, I really got to know Fred and what he stood for, and I'm just very proud to be here continuing his tradition of honoring music for all types of people. And obviously those that can't afford a ticket to go elsewhere, they can come and join us on the beautiful ambience with the lake at night. And it's pretty stable. Like everybody knows it's Wednesday and Saturday nights at 8 o'clock and it's free. So pretty consistent. So it's been good to grow the festival. I'm really proud of that. Thanks to a lot of things, but just lovely to see what it was then and what it is now.
Well, you touched on it. I've always appreciated there's a bit of something for everyone, right? Like country music nights might not so much be for me, but you've got, hard rock, you've got classic rock, you've got pop, you've got, a bit of hip hop stuff in there, quite the mix. Well, not that I know what your lineup is this year.
Right. I know you were going to hint at that. But we usually get 16 to 18 nights. Yeah. So we really can fluctuate what we pull to the park. Yeah. We like to get local too, because a lot of the other events in town have folded since the pandemic. Yeah. So we want to support that local market that used to be out there all the time. Yeah. We also need to draw a crowd to 4 Acre Park. Yeah. So it's tough to do that if you don't bring a name. Yeah. So we really want to make sure that we do both. And we bring a lot of tribute bands. People love to sing every word to every song. Yeah. And, we're surprised at how many still come. Like 10,000 people in the park to Elton Ron, Yeah. So it's just kind of, you want to continue to do that. So usually 5 or 6 of the nights we bring tribute bands.
Yeah. Well, looking at the stats, I saw 110,000 people 2023.
That's right. Yeah, not our biggest. We had 140 one year with Our Lady Peace. All right. But yes,
I was there for that one.
Yeah, we were? Good. That was a good night. Yeah, so there has been the parks being filled up again. Like I think people are feeling more comfortable to get out. Yeah. And we want to see more kids out, because I know they were kind of cooped up during the pandemic, and music is therapy, right? So we were lucky to get back in 2022 before others. Yeah. Even though the stage was deemed condemned that year, it was a real test. But we've moved ahead with a temporary stage that the city's put in for us. It's quite small, but we make it work, and it's been great. Yeah, we've really done well since the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, and Musicfest is one of those things, whether we're talking festival lights or whatever parts of its history, it's just become a part of our local fabric. And maybe you can touch on the cultural value that Musicfest has brought.
Yeah, I think mostly the barrier-free that I've mentioned, and also the fact that we want to bring unique genres to the park. A lot of people don't want to open up to something other than rock or something other than country. Yeah. So we've tried to bring, we brought Indigenous, the jerry cans, and they did throat singing. Yeah. We never had that type of music on the stage before. Years ago, we were able to bring Peterborough Symphony Orchestra, so 65 instruments on stage. It was remarkable. We've had the War Memorial where we had a smudging and a drum circle, and we had the chief come. So we're hoping to do that again, some form of connection with Canadian Canoe Museum. But certainly the economic side, we've opened up the doors to expand and do more work on more partnerships. But we're really proud of where we stand with Musicfest, and making sure that we still keep free admission, because a lot of festivals have had to either start charging or move to a 4-day event. We still run all summer long, and we're the only ones in all of Canada that do that. So it's a little tougher for us to work with the agents in booking, but we have a Wednesday night, so that's quite handy. But I must say it's pretty cool to have that tagline, and we need to do better at telling our story and bringing more awareness to, we are the largest free festival. I mean, others have just as many bands, but they're packed into 4 days. So we only run for 90 minutes. There's not a lot we can do with that. Lots of people would like to have a drink in their hand or entertainment otherwise. So we're thinking of expanding a little more earlier in the night to help our food vendors and whatnot. We can talk about that, like how we've expanded our budget. We're trying to look for new ways to make some money down at the park.
Well, I can't, when you talk about there's other festivals, it's not like those other festivals are charging $10 or $20. You're a few $100s to go to any music festival.
$400 now, yes.
Right?
I saw Edmonton just started a new festival. It's $285 to get in. So to see Metric, like, it's kind of interesting. We just make it work with all these wonderful local sponsors that support us.
Well, and part of that whole community feel too, there's a lot of spin-offs within the community, right? So maybe you can touch a little bit on how this impacts the businesses here and how others are able to take advantage of these crowds.
I'm most proud of that, not just hiring students that grow up and know that they had this experience at the park, the best they've ever had, because it's so unique. They go and start a business, and then they're our future sponsors. So that they've grown with the festival and they've come back, but also just like our suppliers and some of our sponsors are connecting backstage, and our suppliers are someone like Porter Sound, who works for us, is referred to many other events. Trent has hired him, Fleming. Of course, people go to the park, they hear that amazing music, and they want to hire him. So there's a ripple effect there. But I'm most proud about, I think the unique experience is the sponsors connecting backstage. So some of them start to work together after they've made a connection. So we find that networking piece is a big part of Peterborough and connection with people, and that's why we do what we do. Not just to bring strangers into Peterborough to get to know our area, but also for you to go with your neighbor or your relatives, and people plan their whole vacation around our summer. So that's one of my favorite things about Musicfest, is that you're bringing people here to celebrate music, and you're having fun in the park. It's just a great thing to do. It's such a fun job.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who, have the regular cottage rentals and that kind of thing, and they sort of pick and choose that around what your lineup is going to be while they're
and also Torontonians during the pandemic, I think I heard a lot of them sold their properties and moved to their cottage. So they didn't know about us. So we're still getting the word out through sponsors within the region, like the county, to make sure that they know to come in on a Wednesday night. That's when we tend to have the bigger acts, because Saturday they very likely might be on the dock with a drink in their hands, and they have their friends. So we just, sometimes they'll come into town, and other times we just try and do the bigger acts on Wednesday, and that way businesses are already here working, so they can still come and join and feel that atmosphere. And there's nothing like the energy, like when you get in there and you feel the energy of the park, like especially day one after the pandemic, with the bass in your chest and the wind in your hair. And I was very emotional. It was like you could feel and you could see kids jumping around in bubbles, and people were just back out again. And it's just really rewarding. Very rewarding. And Peterborough should be proud of it. I think we take it for granted, because until you go to another town and you go to another festival with the likes of the caliber we're bringing, you're amazed at how much you have to pay to get there. So
not a lot of places where you can roll in with your blanket, your kids can sprawl out on there with some snacks, and you can take in top talent, right?
That's right.
All for free.
All for free.
And now you also involve a lot of not-for-profits in your own work over there, right?
Yeah, we tend to. We like to get them down to the park. We also do in the winter we run a Diners book campaign, where we would like to get people downtown in the winter as well and keep our brand alive. And it's worked really well for us. We've made quite a bit of money, like but almost $40,000, and it's just brought great entertainment to the stage. But it's also opened the door to 88 restaurants that people may not have otherwise tried. So they go through the whole book, and this is just a really good way for us to push out to the farmers and the local businesses, and not such big conglomerates like some festivals have to come in. But we also do a gift in kind. So if you have a gala or like the Pink in the Rink, or there's quite a few different events happening from January to April, we offer them a package to give away in their auctions, so they can get some free seats to some of their people that have the winners. So it's kind of fun to do that.
Nice.
But being a non-for-profit, a lot of people don't realize, you need to do a lot of partnerships in order to work together at trying to save money. And we also connected with the Lock and Paddle this year, last year. We're doing that again this year. So we like to bring music to the water, so we partnered with Le Boat.
Nice.
And they're not non-for-profit. I know you'd ask that question, but partnering is a good thing. And we got Cal Crow to join us, who grew up with us finally got onto our stage last year.
Nice.
And he played from the boat while all the canoers and kayakers went into the buckets, and up they went for the Lock and Paddle. So that was a nice little piece that we decided to partner with somebody, and we're always looking for ways to do that. It's kind of tough when we're so busy in the summer months, but that's normally when things are happening. So finding time around our Wednesdays and Saturdays is having a strong team, and we've really grown our team. We have more experience in-house in the office. So it's not just me, which it was for years. So it's kind of nice to have another 2 people that are working half-time. And both Raph and Matt have been a great asset to me and the board, and we're just so proud to have them moving into year 3. So it's great that I can do other things and grow the business, and they can move on and do the practical operational, which I still love to do.
Well, and I don't think people always appreciate that this is a year-round operation, right?
I think they're like, what do you do in the winter?
You sponsorships. And they don't.
They don't realize we have 100 sponsors to visit. And I think too the diners piece, we have to go and visit all the restaurants, and
that's grown too. Like you said, 88. I remember when it was like 38.
Yeah, we had 35 when I started. And the book's now $1,000 values. So I guess with food going up, it's good for people to buy the book. And so I'm glad we can talk about it, because it runs all year. So we're going to sell it down at the park too, but it's sold right now at Lansdowne Place. So it's with Valentine's Day past, we did really well. We're pushing through, these books, and it just helps us put great acts like Big Wreck and Metric on our stage, which normally we could not afford.
Nice.
Yes.
And then you also have to work with government on some of this funding, right? So how is that? Is it an onerous process every year going through all the grants, or how do you work all that?
Yeah, grants always been a bit of a headache, because you really want to show about your business, right? And we have a couple board members that have been great, but luckily Raph Melito, who's come on board with us, she's our marketing communications manager. She's been writing a lot of new grants, grants that we never reached out to before. We don't usually ask for capital. We just focus on entertainment. And we always get our Canada Day, and we used to always get the province, but that fell away. There was a restriction with the province asking that you have consecutive nights. And we were like, now what do we do? Because we've only ever run Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we decided to offer a weekend. We'll see what happens. We'll hear about it in April, and we will probably run over the Irish week. They're having a bicentennial. Peter Robinson, 9 Ships, is running a big festival from August 1st to the 10th, and we're going to partner with them. So we're bringing, we already have Irish bands booked for that week, but we might have a Sunday, and then we'll be able to maybe do some kids things that we haven't done in a while, and work with the city and these 9 Ships team, and we'll see what happens. But they obviously want to bring more tourism dollars, and I think they feel a lot of people drive in from Oshawa and turn around and go home. They want them to stay overnight, stay at the cottage, book a trip. Stay longer than one night.
Now, there's been a lot of conversation over this last year about just the value of the arts and culture scene, right? There was some heated conversations around the city budget. We don't need to rehash all of that.
No, right.
But maybe you can touch a bit more broadly, like why are things like live music important in our community?
I really believe that our festival is built on relationships and connections with people. I'm a real people person, and I think the relationships are key. And I really think that we bring so much value to Peterborough, not only because people are coming and spending their money here on what we do, but some of them decide to come and move and live here. Like, it's amazing when you hear these stories that they've traveled to Peterborough, caught a couple shows, and then they retire here. Yeah. I mean, that's true reward. Like, for us to hear that, it's just very rewarding, and just we're proud to do what we do. Yeah. Also, just about it's beyond music. I think I mentioned it earlier. It's therapeutic. I think music brings so much more. We have a really good story. We have one of our staff members grew up and came to the festival when he was young, and he went and bought a guitar. Yeah. Now he's in a band. He wouldn't probably be working for us if Musicfest hadn't touched him and made him feel like music should be a part of his life. Yeah. So we have sports. You put a hockey stick in your hand. You have books. Yep. Lots of people that love to read. But when music hits anybody, it's just they say it's the world language and the language of love. Yep. So I really believe that we do that for Peterborough. I think it's a real mark. We were small when we started. Fred did a great job, and now we've really grown. And I'm just really proud to state that now the bands are calling us. Like, that's never happened. Yeah. We have people reaching out from all walks of life to see about playing on our stage. Yeah. So we've made a map. Like, we've marked a map, like Peterborough's on the map. Yeah. And I think I'm really proud of that. And for the Torontonians that I deal with, the agents, even some out of LA and New York, for them to contact me and say, Dallas Green wants to come, how can we get City and Color on your stage? Yeah, like, wow. Wow. Yes, yeah. So we should be really proud of that. And I just really think we can do better at telling our story so that our fans, our local fans, know that, but the people that have never been, just come down and try something new. We've had Dwayne Gretzky for years, and I'm sad to say, but it's wonderful for them. They've grown so much that they're now going to Bud Stage, so they no longer can play free festivals because they need to make the money there. So I'm proud of them. They are local, and we love to have them back someday, but they've moved on like the rec laws, and people still are going to be very sad that they're not on a free stage, but that's okay. They've grown and they move on. We'll find a new Dwayne Gretzky.
Well, and it's within the local music scene, there's always that feeling of accomplishment, or at least I see it, right? Once you get to that level, you're playing Musicfest. It's the next level, right? And
for me, it's reputation too. Yeah. So I want, when people come out, some people come out every night, and you just are wondering if they're happy with the caliber. I mean, we do what we can, but not always. Some people can't get that high note anymore when they're 80 and they've come back from old rock. I know, me neither. I don't even play an instrument, but it's interesting that some people are just like they want more, and we do our best. And it's pretty easy to pick 20 bands that you're going to like some of them and some of them you're not, but we just want people to try something new. And Dwayne Gretzky was here for 5 years, and some people only heard about it in year 4 or 5. Yeah. So if they'd come out in year 1, they would have had 5 years of Dwayne Gretzky. So we're just hoping that getting the word out, like today, people will try something new, like the jerry cans with the throat singers. And last year, one of my favorites was Ace and Abby, and he came in from Toronto, and we just loved it. I saw him on the Junos, and it was remarkable. His voice is remarkable, and it was one of my favorite nights. Just trying something new, but certainly opening your mind to art is so key. We have such a population here in Peterborough, and I'm proud of where Peterborough's come from with all forms of art. And I'm glad that the city turned their idea around of cutting back arts. I think it was important for the mayor to stipulate how much things cost, and that was part of the budget. But certainly I'm proud that we got the money back, because I don't know what we would have done. We've already cut out a week. So normally we run till the end of August, and currently we only run till August 16th. So we just want to get that week back. Yeah. And just to walk into the park costs quite a bit of money without the band. Yeah. Bands range from anywhere from 40 to 60,000 for 90 minutes. So I don't think people realize that. We can't really state who costs what, but we can state that that's what it's going to cost us. So when we have these sponsors coming in from all walks of life, we're very proud, because we're able to build the lineup based on how much sponsorship we make. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, Thanks so much, Tracey. Really appreciate you coming on here and talking about Musicfest, and we're very excited to see what you have in store.
Yes, I'm excited to share. And I know that we open on Saturday, June 28th. So we have Canada Day on the Tuesday. So we have 4 shows the first week. So we hope to see everybody down there. Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much.